Ray LaHood, I know we've all met with the new secretary. He asked me what some of the priorities are, and I said, Ray, we've got to get a FAA bill, and we've got to also get an FAA administrator. It's absolutely incomprehensible that we haven't had an FAA reauthorization since September of 2007, and now I hear the Senate is looking at an extension that might go into the fall. That's totally unacceptable. So I pledge with Mr. Oberstar to work to pass comprehensive FAA reauthorization, which should have been done in the last 2 years. Trying to deal with an agency, and I chaired aviation for 6 years, and we did some very good things. It's difficult enough when you have an administrator or chief executive of an agency in place. It's difficult, if not impossible, when you don't have one, or you have one acting who's being held hostage for political reasons, which is totally unacceptable. This bill could and should be conferenced, and we could do it in 2 hours. There was no reason that shouldn't have been done. First, and we know what one of the big elephants in the room is the NATCA provisions. And I think we have to be fair to the men and women who serve us as air traffic controllers. I'm glad this is tossed to the new administration and to the new greater majority. I just would counsel them, if you unleash a dam, and again, I think that they're entitled to some compensation, and additional compensation, particularly new entrants. And I did everything I could to bring parties together for the last 2 years to resolve that issue, but that has to be resolved. That is the 2-ton elephant in the room. I have no problem with the provisions for compulsory arbitration, and I would hope to the good Lord that we never again bring to Congress the personnel and salary issues of any of our agencies at that level, and then put every member of Congress in the middle of a ping-pong contest to resolve it. It's horrible, and I think we have a solution. We need to adopt that. And that is a big, serious issue that you all have got to resolve, and I'll be glad to sit down at any time and get that behind us. The financing issue is another big elephant, and that does need to be resolved. I think Mr. Oberstar and I came to some conclusions, and I hope we don't have to revisit that too much. Finally, there are, and I've been quoted in the press saying there are some half-baked proposals in here that need to come out. Everybody knows what they are. I don't want to go over all of them. They'll hurt our airliners, the airline industry, which is already on its third, I was going to say its second time on its knees. It's a third, but we don't want them down and out for the count. And we've got to have some reasonable provisions, whether it's the foreign repair stations, the insect notification. I see, thankfully, Mr. DeFazio's gone. The OSHA standards and some of the other issues, you know what I'm talking about. Finally, we have got to do something, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member, and Mr. Oberstar, about getting, as soon as we get an FAA administrator in place, getting airspace redesign in the New York City area. They tell me now that we are 83% of our chronically delayed flights emanate from the Northeast corridor and the New York City area. And I've done hearings and meetings from Philadelphia to Connecticut. That has to be resolved. It has to be resolved. So whether it's in FAA reauthorization along with NextGen, which is also important, it must be resolved. So those are my comments, and I yield back the balance of my time.